When we have clients that are interested in starting a business as a way of diversifying their portfolios, these are the 6 major steps that we help them navigate. Coming up. Welcome back. My name is Steven Spicer, and my goal is to help you invest smarter and build a stable lifetime income. Now, I'm a financial advisor by trade, and I own my own financial planning firm. Now, if you're interested in business ownership and entrepreneurship, you might find these 6 steps helpful as you get started. So let's get to it. Number 1, evaluate your opportunities. The first thing I would say to people who have yet to come up with their business idea is to become a detective. Start paying closer attention to the people and things around you. What are some of the things in your daily life that you feel could be improved? What is inconvenient for you? What do you wish you had? What do you love to do that others don't? What are other people saying? Sara Blakey, founder of Spanx, found her idea after deciding that she was going to start looking for ideas that she wanted to pursue. In a podcast interview on Masters of Scale, she said that she would look anywhere for her ideas, from looking through magazines to overhearing other people's conversations. She recommends that everybody take the time to write down 15 different things in their lives and then write down how they could each be improved. The first step here is just to get in the frame of mind of noticing the opportunities that are already around you. However, it's rarely a lack of ideas that cripple most business owners. Typically, it's the next 5 points that determine your level of execution and ultimately success. Number 2, take action. For most, this can be the hardest part of the entire entrepreneurial process. It's one of the easiest things to get wrong. If you're like me and millions of others, you might get lost in some of the weeds of starting your business, like finding the perfect design for your website, trying to develop your systems entirely before even taking on your first client or selling your first product, or trying to make every single video perfect. I mean, these things are important and they feel like they need to be done, and they don't require you to go beyond your comfort zone. Spending too much time on tasks like these is often just another form of procrastination. You're excited, you want to get everything just perfect. Doing these things makes you feel like you're making progress, but they won't make you any money. And especially early on, nobody's gonna recognize your brand, and you're probably gonna end up shifting a lot of this stuff over time anyway. Spend the valuable time that you do have working on things that will get you closer to making your first dollar. You may feel like you're far away from that point, but that's just how businesses start. Co-founder of LinkedIn, Reid Hoffman, said it best: if you're not embarrassed with your first product release, you've released it too late. This same logic applies to service-based businesses as well. Now, of course, you don't want your reputation to be that you provide poor products or services, but it is okay for people to know that you're just getting started. The right people will understand that it can take time to get your final product or service to a point where it just delights customers. Number 3, start small, start free. Starting a business is a lot of Americans' dreams, but I think many have the wrong impression of what the road to a successful business should look like. Social media shows us people who have had success on the grandest scale, and I think it's easy to lose connection with the smaller steps that they took to get there. Even the largest companies around today often had to start extremely small and had to start in a model that was not scalable before they could grow to where they are today. I believe getting started early, focusing on immediate feedback, and learning as you go is not only the fastest way for you to build a business, but also the way in which you're most likely to succeed long term. This often means doing things that aren't practical for you to do forever. For example, the founders of Airbnb went to New York from their homes in California because that's where the majority of the 10 to 15 monthly users at the time were located. They knocked on their doors, offered to take professional photos of their homes for their Airbnb profile, and got as much feedback from them as possible. Is this scalable? No. Is this something they plan to do forever? No. but it allowed them to learn and gain traction early on. Phil Knight, founder of Nike, went to track meets and sold shoes out of his van. There are countless examples and variations of this at the origins of many of the businesses all around you. For example, as it is today, I'm working on regrowing my social media presence after an extended break of further in-depth research around the problems I saw in the financial industry. But because of that, I want to develop a relationship with the people who have supported me despite that big inconsistency. I'm even dedicating time to getting to know some of the newer subscribers as well, who are providing me with the feedback and support that I know I'm going to need in order to gain traction again. That means personally replying to all comments and even some one-on-one conversations to a degree that I won't possibly be able to support forever. Another unique example comes from Elliot Bisnow, the founder of Summit Series, which seeks to bring together some of the leading entrepreneurs in the world. When he was just 25 in his second year of business, he came up with the idea to get Goldman Sachs as a sponsor to their event. But get this, he didn't want any money. He just wanted their verbal endorsement of what he was doing. A small ask, to which they happily obliged. He proceeded to call some of Goldman Sachs' competitors and others and explain to them that they were looking for sponsors for their event, that they were going to be selective, and that Goldman Sachs was already on board. This social proof was critical in getting new sponsors to help fund his event. The same logic can apply to whatever type of business you're starting. Find people of influence and offer what you provide to them for free, or maybe at your minimum acceptable hourly rate. In doing so, you can help build social proof and a reputation that far precedes what you may otherwise have. As I continue to pour more and more of my time into the social side of my business, that's probably what I'll do. For example, when I start to release the financial education courses and community that I have planned for my audience, I'll identify those in the community who are the most engaged and get them on board for free early on. Not only do I want the feedback from people whose opinions I value most, but I also want their experience to serve as a testament to the value of what's being provided. Number 4, market like a Girl Scout. Those are the words of the author of the book, Side Hustle, Idea to Income in 27 Days. This is the point where you can really test if your business is a viable idea. It's where you will likely find out if there's a real market for what you have to offer. For many, this is the point where you'll be most challenged to push outside of your comfort zone. Unfortunately, the Field of Dreams mantra, build it and they will come, isn't the reality for most. Marketing to friends and family may be your best option starting out. Or maybe your target market is more likely to hang out in certain spots in which you'll want to take advantage of making new connections with these potential customers. Becoming a great salesman is not the point. Be straightforward with your offering. The point of marketing and sales is not just to talk anybody into doing business with you. The key here is to be a matchmaker. The people who your product or service will be most valuable to are the people who will want to be sold on what you have to offer. So make it a point to find and talk to these people. In the early stages, this may still mean calling people up, having conversations in person, and offering discounted prices that you would not be willing to offer in the future. Don't overcomplicate it. You can just call and say, hey, I just started up a yoga class in the park on Fridays at 5 p.m. I'm going to charge $5 for this first session, and I thought about you. Is that something you'd be interested in? I'm trying to get an idea of how many people will come. Anyway, this is your test of how much traction you can truly get. If you do this part right, some of the people you end up working with who are a great fit will become your advocate and share their experience with their network. Finally, when it comes to marketing, you better be your own biggest fan of what you have to offer. If you're a photographer, you better have some awesome photos in your home and on your social media pages. If you sell clothing, you better wear the clothing that you sell. For me, as a financial planner, the whole reason I left my large firm to start my own practice was to be able to help my clients with the exact strategies I do myself. That is diversifying strategically between market investments, real estate, and business. Conveniently, all subjects we cover here on this channel. This initial surge of people will prove incredibly important for learning what they like and what you could improve. Be open to all of the advice you get and consider how you could implement it into your business. But don't think their advice alone will make you ultra successful. That's where this next one comes in. Number 5, stand out. In order to truly stand out, you need to delight your customers in a way they never saw coming. You can't always just listen to the marketplace, or you may miss out on opportunities to be different and get your customers raving to others about what you offer. If Henry Ford just listened to what others had to say, he would have found a faster and cheaper horse. If Mark Zuckerberg would have listened to his classmates, Facebook would be exclusive to students at Harvard. Examples of this show up in some of the most unlikely places. The Savannah Bananas, a minor league baseball team in Savannah, Georgia, redefined what it meant to be a baseball team worth watching. With a goofy name, players and coaches having choreographed dances, parking penguins, just a focus on creating nonstop entertainment for the fans, they quickly became the most popular minor league baseball team in the country and now have sold out tickets with a wait list just to watch a game. When you start to do things that nobody expects and positively stand out, you become very easy for people to talk about. The question you need to ask yourself is, how can you surprise your customers in a good way? How can you wow them? Once things start to take off and work for you, it's at this point, and no sooner, that you should begin to worry about scaling your business. Number 6, scale. Don't worry about building a business that scales early on, because so many of these things aren't scalable, and you won't be able to pick up traction nearly as fast if that's always your focus. Plus, your scalable business may be a variation of your newfound success. I started working with family, friends, and referrals as I grew my expertise before I started to share my investment philosophy on YouTube and Instagram, where I could positively impact many more people. Often when considering how to grow a real estate portfolio, I encourage my clients to manage their first couple of properties on their own, realizing that in the future, we hope to get them to a point where this isn't practical anymore, and they'll have to hire a property manager or two in order to keep scaling. One of my clients is a chiropractor. He's spent years researching the absolute best solutions to various ailments. He worked with people one-on-one during this time to build his rapport and expertise and pay the bills. But now we're working on bringing that hard-earned expertise to a broader audience, and doing so in a way that is much more scalable, not requiring near as much of his time relative to the amount of people he'll be able to impact. But if he had gone about this the other way around, prioritizing scalability over hands-on experience, it just wouldn't have worked. Scaling is exciting, and I often spend probably too much of my time thinking about it. But for most, it's not something that should come before you make a profit. By the time you get to that point where you need to scale, or where you can scale, you may be on an entirely different path than you had originally envisioned anyway. Now, don't get me wrong, scaling your business is often the end goal here. It can mean replacing yourself, growing your income, and ultimately giving yourself more freedom. However, just in my own personal experience and from what I've seen others deal with, I would advise you to crush those other 5 steps first. Oh, and the like button. Yeah, crush the like button too. Let me know in the comments where you're at with your business. I'd love to help however I can. I wish you all the best. Take care.